Yeah, and this is called the unstoppable mindset. That's what we call it here. It's a physical process, although obviously you incorporate your mind. And I know as you basically begin here, I mean, this is about getting centered. And what I love you did here in this process that we're about to describe is you incorporate the elements of fire and water and air and earth, because one, they're elemental and there's a power to that, but two, it helps people crystallize in their mind so that they can begin through the process. So again, I'm moving us a little bit fast here. Let me know if you need to slow
Yes.
me down. But obviously, the process begins where people are going to center themselves. They're going to get set in. But then we're diving straight into, now you call it the fire phase. I call it the Hulk smash phase. Now, you're not going to be violent and destroy anything, but I'm going to give you the floor to describe the fire phase. I think people understand why I call it Hulk smash. So first
Yes.
part of this 10-minute process, this meditation, which I guess you're spending about 2 minutes on, is fire. Take it away, AJ. What do you do exactly in that
Yes,
step?
yeah. So I'll just give a quick overview about this process again. I started this in my absolute lowest, the worst point of my life, and it was really the challenge for myself to take my 20 years of knowledge and coaching thousands of people. How can I concentrate everything to a simple 10-minute routine that'll bring about a lot of progress and a lot of shifts? And one thing I forgot to mention was after that whole text thing went away, I was fully relieved and on a whole nother planet of joy. A week later, the IRS made another mistake and they sent me a check for $100,000. And literally, like, all of these great things started happening after that tax bill went away. And I will tell you that this routine is a big part of my success. I believe that we are able to operate and vibrate at a certain frequency. And every time I do this routine, I vibrate in a very magnetic and attractive way. And I feel that it's been bringing a lot of great things into my life. And as you mentioned, the science behind it is really backed in by looking at the four elements, right? We have fire, water, air, and earth. And in these four elements are different parts of the meditation. So we're discussing the first part of it. This is how you start off the entire routine. You're essentially doing 2 minutes for each of the elements, and fire is based on really letting go and just having a big venting session, a powerful catharsis. And the science behind the fire is that for thousands of years, Hindus have been doing a dynamic meditation. And a dynamic meditation is essentially doing an active meditation where you're just letting go and expressing yourself. And whatever you feel in that moment, you're just releasing it. And essentially, it's 2 minutes of venting in a powerful way. And one other thing that I came up and why I put this in the start of it is when you think about a Tony Robbins seminar, if you've ever been to one of his events, his entire event is a 4-day dynamic meditation where people are jumping up and screaming and releasing and just creating so much energy and putting it out there. And by the end of it, they could take on the world, right? And you're doing this in the beginning where basically whatever you feel in that moment, you're releasing it. So one way of starting it, I like to start mine with what is called a Superman stretch, where basically you open up your arms, you open up your legs, you lean back, and you scream as loud as you can. Ah! Just by doing that, you already feel a surge of energy. You awaken your body and mind. And then I typically jump up and down and just loosen up. Just whatever I feel, I release it. If you're angry with something, curse. Ah, damn you. This person is so annoying. If you're stressed out about something, this damn tax bill is killing me. It's like whatever you have in your body and mind in that moment, just release it. Go all out for 2 minutes.
Yes, it goes without saying, based on that demo, some people are going to want to pick a private spot so that they can really let loose, because you don't want to go halfway with this. You don't want to be
Yes.
like worried about the person in the next room. You want to like really go primal. And again, I tried this out before having you on here, and I found that there was a simultaneous release and relief of tension while positive energy flowed in through my body and kind of like came to the surface. It was a really very interesting big experience. And believe it or not, I wasn't even I didn't have anything negative. I was just like, I really want this to work. I want to try this out. So like, I didn't even have anything negative, and I didn't care. It's like, no, I'm still getting something out of this. And I'm sure when I have something negative, it's going to serve me even more. So this is the fire step. And again,
Yes.
you could flail, like you have permission to do whatever you want. I mean, don't break anything. You want to keep your stuff, but
Yeah.
flail your arms around, jump up and down, scream, pound
Yeah.
your chest if you're not going to injure yourself. Do whatever you can do,
Yes.
and just Hulk smash it out or go through the
Hulk
fire.
smash.
And obviously, you visualize fire. Of course, this is the fire step. You're raging
Yes.
like a fire. It gets you back to that Thor movie Ragnarok, where the Hulk is
Yeah.
like Hulk like raging fire. That's what you're doing. That's the fire step, right? Now, before
Absolutely.
moving on, did we leave anything out of that step?
Yes. So one of the key elements is, as you mentioned, finding a private place. Ideally, you want to do this whole routine standing up. Sitting is fine, but the screaming is really aligned with a primal scream that our ancestors have done for all of human civilization. Essentially, prior to language, we would scream all the time, especially men and women. When their child was sick or they didn't have food. There's a powerful catharsis in screaming. And ask yourself, when was the last time you screamed? Probably been years for some people. And when you are screaming, your vocal cords are deeply connected to your subconscious mind. So you have this powerful release that happens merely just screaming, a nice loud primal scream.
Love it. Love it. Cool.
Yes.
So you've done this. You've gone through the fire phase. You spent 2 minutes on this. So we
Yes.
haven't spent a lot of time right now. And then we're transitioning into, if I'm not mistaken, water. And
Yes.
you're gonna explain this way better to me because you're the creator here. But I mean, this is about a flow state. This is about, we've gone from the frenetic stage to the ease and the grace, and there's like now a gentle, you're still moving, but now it's like a gentle dance. You're almost like a waterfall in a lush, beautiful forest. You're focusing on gratitude, and I'll turn it over to you to kind of explain that better.
Yes. So absolutely. So 2 minutes of fire, catharsis, release, letting go. And then water is based on flow and gratitude. Fire is more masculine and aggressive. Water is more feminine and just letting your body flow in any which way you want it to go. So the primary purpose here is to speak out loud 10 things you are grateful for in the present moment. And I like to do it where I say, I am happy and grateful for this amazing interview with my friend Andrew. I'm happy and grateful for how great I feel right now sharing my process with so many new people. And as you're sharing with gratitude, you want to move your body in a very flowy, watery. Think about Tai Chi. Tai Chi has been practiced for thousands of years in Asia. And it's the process of just letting your body flow. In a way, you're dancing, right? You don't need music. You don't even need a rhythm. You're just going with the flow with a specific loose movement along with gratitude. Just saying, I literally say in my head, like accounting. Number one, I'm super happy and grateful for. Number two, I'm super, and going through those top 10 gratitude in the present moment, all of a sudden you feel a different feeling from the fire.
And might I add, for me personally, coming from the fire into the water, there's even more of a flow of the water. Like if you start with water, go ahead, but I think there's a magic to having the fire behind it because
Yes.
you're breathing a little heavy, but now you're just like get to calm and relax, and you're basically you're going through a wave basically. There's a process here. There's an ebb and flow. I mean, I can think that's the best way I'm putting it here. So I love how one is leading to the other. Now, before moving on to the third part, did we miss anything about the water?
Yes, absolutely. And as you mentioned, there is an ebb and flow, and this is something that I've did extensive studies on and tested on myself because I've invested in so many different events and events where we do a lot of movement and we look at the flow of things, and of course, it's the ability to use fire in the beginning to release, and then gratitude to open up your heart and to loosen up your body,
Mhm.
because of course, it's just one of these things where it's a fundamental, easy thing to do. Like it's common sense, but it's not common practice. And when the body is moving, even if you're jumping up and down, or even in a loose way with Tai Chi flowing, you hit so many points of activation, right? First and foremost, your blood is flowing a lot better. You're doing a little bit of a stretch. You're burning more calories, but you get out of your head and get more in touch with your body. And one of the key elements of these two, the fire and the water, is being fully aware of what is going on in your body, because this is a really powerful thing, especially if you feel kind of sick, or I need to rest, I need more sleep. The people that are really in tune with their body, they avoid injuries, they avoid a lot of situations, because your beautiful intuitive gift is in your gut.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you're talking about activation, because when you're moving while being grateful. I mean, me, I'm obviously gratitude sitting around doing nothing has worked way fine for me, but why not ramp
Yes.
it up? And when you're moving while feeling gratitude, you're firing extra synapses with your brain and creating more connections. And it's just something that's more dynamic, that's basically boosting and feeding and reinforcing the gratitude through this, which I love.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. Great
Awesome.
point. Great point.
Now we've
And
gone through fire.
yes,
We've raged through fire, and we've flowed in through water, and now it's time to take in air. And that's basically, you're talking about the power of breath work. You're talking about filling and infusing your body with oxygen rich blood, and really taking in deep breaths, and almost like breathing in the light and breathing out the dark. Even though you've never phrased that, I'm paraphrasing you now
I
here,
like
but I
that.
guess I'm
I
turning it
definitely
over to you
use
to
it.
kind of expound on that and what air means to you.
Absolutely. So breath work is something I only discovered a few years ago. And again, it's rooted in an ancient process, and it's backed with a lot of science, right? Wim Hof, he's brought breath work to the masses with his processes, and realizing that if you could really activate proper breathing, you could pretty much do anything. Submerge yourself in ice cold water and do very difficult activities. And most importantly, clear your mind in a very powerful way. So, breath work allows you to take in a lot of oxygen and release a lot of CO2. Now, this specific rhythm of breathing is more ideal and more conducive for bringing about a massive change in your body and mind. And it's really based on pranayama, which is one of the oldest breath work practices. Again, I'm taking stuff from ancient cultures that have been done over thousands of years, and now science has been testing and seeing the effects of it. And at the same time, it calms your mind, clears out just any anxiety that you have. At the same time, you find a really powerful boost in energy, because you're putting so much oxygen rich blood through your body, and you're expelling all the harmful CO2, so you feel awakened. And
Right.
there's many different types of breath work. And again, if you go over higher levels or longer lengths of breath work, you can literally hallucinate, because when you do breath work for, let's say, over 45 minutes, you release DMT from your brain. And there's been many accounts of people going through a full psychedelic hallucination just from their breath.
Awesome. Now, you know me, I'm the strategy guy. I love seeing how things work in a way that will reinforce my implementation of them. So I want to kind of say, like, the cool thing about this, again, by the way, can't interview AJ without actually doing this, because there's certain insights to the process. So you've
Yes.
got the fire, you've got the water. If you're out of shape at all, or even if you're not out of shape, you're breathing heavy. When you get to air, you get to slow down the pace, and it's perfectly natural that you're going to be taking in deep breaths. So there's
Yes.
a real, we don't want to throw logic into this, but I find logic everywhere. There's a logical progression to where we're going so far on these three elements of 2 minutes each. You've done all the crazy stuff. Your body's automatically wanting to breathe in and breathe out. You might as well let it happen and enjoy it, and let it slow down and let things happen. That's the beauty of this, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because even those 4 minutes of movement to actually sit down and do deep breathing is very relaxing, but also your body's very charged up in a positive way. Also, you are training yourself to properly breathe. Now, you want to breathe in through your nose most of us breathe in through our mouth, and it's very harmful. I mean, there's a ton of studies that share why breathing in through your nose is far superior. And through this segment, you are focusing on your nose, all the oxygen is going in through there. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And most importantly, you want to breathe into your belly or diaphragm. Oftentimes, when we're not aware of our breathing, it's in our chest. It's very shallow. It's not proper breathing. And ask yourself, when was the last time you're aware, or when was the last time you heard the sound of yourself breathing?
Love it. Love it. Anything else we're missing before we move on to the last element there?
Yes, absolutely. Because when you do the wind, the breathing, you, in a sense, activate certain parts of your subconscious mind. Your brain is getting filled with so much beautiful, rich oxygen that new thoughts come up, new ideas come up, or even new triggers and memories. It's so weird because the 2-minute breathwork session, for me personally, I find that my brain is the most activated. The most things are coming through. And it's interesting, depending on your mood, if you're like in an angry, upset mood, what comes up during the breath work. When you're in a happy, joyful mood, what comes up. So pay close attention to these intuitive hunches that come up during the breath work.
Love it. And it's almost paradoxical. It's like it's the part where your body is the most still that your mind is the most active, and those insights are really going to pop in. I love it.
Yeah, it's unreal. You know,
I
and
love it.
obviously the more you do it, the more insights come up. And, you know, that's what we want, a creative mind, right? All these ideas for our business, for our life, because if we could just manufacture ideas on demand through this routine, that's really the name of the game.
I love it. Another piece of this, because the fire, it didn't have to be negative, but it might have been where negative stuff came up. And then you went into gratitude, and now you're into breath work. It's basically your mind's like, well, I heard the positive, I heard the negative, I heard them both. Here's a cool little insight or inspiration that we can constructively do about this. It's like it just happens. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. You're not supposed to expect it. It's really more of a thing where if it does, or when it does, don't be surprised. These kinds of things might happen every day. They might happen once a month. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're going through this process and you're enjoying the moment.
Yes. You're just super present to the moment. And then when you're doing breath work, you have no other choice, because breathing in, exhale. So I created a specific guided routine that you could download, because the breath work for a lot of people is very confusing. How long do I inhale? How long do I exhale? So I measured it out and timed it. And it's a process where you're starting in with deep, long breaths and going into rapid breaths. And while you're doing that, it's triggering different parts of the body. And finally, the end of it is a long hold. So when you hold, after doing the 2 minutes of extreme breath work, your body's filled with so much oxygen that you hold it in, that it just awakens like every cell.
Love it. Love it. And then at that point, you're ready for the final element in this process, which again is earth. And again, I love, because this makes perfect sense. Earth is about, being grounded. This is about grounding everything that you just went through. And this is also about, setting powerful intentions. And is this where are the 3 rocks part of Earth, or is that after Earth? I just want to make sure I describe this the right way.
The 3 rocks are a part of Earth. And again, when you are grounding yourself, the Earth phase, you just went through an intense 6 minutes of body, mind, breathing. There's so much stuff that's coming up, right? And as the stuff is coming up, you want to be able to capture it, right? Speak it into existence. And again, the vocal cords and speaking out loud is a key component of this entire process. And you want to be in a place where you could talk about what is coming through. And in an ideal situation, you do this first thing in the morning. The first 10 minutes of my morning are devoted to this, right? Before I do anything else, before I even have coffee, right? So it actually, sometimes it'll boost you up to the point you don't need caffeine or coffee. And when you're doing the grounding, you are basically setting out your ideal day, right? For the rest of the day, how do you want to look? And there's a really powerful process called segment intention. And I think you speak about this in your book. Is a really powerful skill in law of attraction.
Yeah, I know it's really big. Abraham Hicks really goes into segment intention a lot. And
Yes.
obviously, you are a high level entrepreneur. So it makes perfect sense that let's talk about this, about getting through your day in a productive, healthy way. And you advise, at least for your style. Now, admittedly, I'm a little bit different where I didn't segment hour by hour.
Yes.
I just stuck with the three rocks where I did the three things. But what you say is one great way of doing it, the way that you do it is through that process of grounding and letting whatever comes up come up and think about it and observe whatever thoughts, whether they're positive or negative. You are segment intending, you specifically, where you're hour by hour by hour, you're saying, okay, what is my day going to be? I'm making this choice and decision right now of designing my day hour by hour. And where I understand like the three rocks come in, which again is perfect for the theme of ground, is you choose in that day three really vital important things that you want to make sure to intend to that kind of stand above the others that you're really segment intending, that you're really saying, this is the stuff that's getting my energy and my attention because these are the three things that I've decided will make this the ideal day that I want to have play out. These three
Yes.
things make it the great day. And that could be whether you're finishing a chapter of a book you're writing, whether you're getting to a certain client, whether you're asking that girl or that guy out or whatever it might be, you're making that decision of these three things are going to be done, which guys, do the math. 3 times 365, it's over a
Yeah.
thousand huge things that you've intended over the year, but I'm throwing that piece in. But with that said, what am I missing, if anything, as I'm describing that right now?
Yes, absolutely. So a big part of this process is your intuition and just speaking into existence the conversation in your mind. So when you're in the earth, you're grounding, you're really visualizing the rest of your day. And I like to speak about my ideal day, right? So let's say I'm getting up at 6 a.m. and I'm segment intending in the grounding phase what I want to do, my three big rocks, the three big most important tasks that I need to do by the end of the day. So I've found that there is an immense power in creating intentions and even small tasks throughout the day. So let's say, for example, I'm talking about a normal day, getting up at 6 a.m., just did the routine. Now I'm at the grounding. So I want to focus on having an ideal, high energy, productive day. At 7 a.m., I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have a great chest workout, push it hard for 2 hours, do my cardio afterwards, come home, have a lovely breakfast with my girlfriend. We're going to have great conversations and really plan out what we want to do this weekend. After that, I have a sales call and I'm going to serve and I'm going to really transform his life on that sales call. I'm going to close the sale. He's going to be my new client. I'm so excited to work with him. And then boom. So it's kind of like you're just looking at the overview of your day and just taking 2 minutes to summarize your ideal day and how you want to look.
I love it. And like as you've described, some of these things are daily, they're routine, so they're not exactly dramatic and they don't have to be. All they
Yes.
have to be is what you want. All they have to be
Yes.
is your authentic choice.
Yes, exactly. This is all about your authentic choice, 100%.
I love this. This is great. So is this the process or any other piece of the process or just basically the whole thing from start
Yes.
to
So
finish?
those are the first 8 minutes.
Mhm.
And the last 2 minutes to finish off the 10 minutes, because it flies by so quickly, is your intentions. And I believe with this, you want to write. So I'm a big believer in handwriting. I have a journal. I've been using a journal for 14 years, never missed a day. There is a gift when you write because when you write with your hand, your thumbs connect to your subconscious mind, and it's a lot more powerful in what both changing your behavior and actually doing what you write, right? Setting those really powerful intentions. And as you know, being a law of attraction master, you could tell the power of writing out what you want as opposed to just verbalizing it.
Awesome. So the segment intending was just about that day, but this other part is just about your life in general, or what's the
Yes.
difference between that first part and second part?
The best way to describe the final intention is kind of like a brain dump. Now, Anne Lamott wrote a phenomenal book called Book Bird by Bird, and she talks about morning pages. And morning pages or a brain dump is in that moment, right? What you're feeling, whatever's going on, you just kind of just write it and you put it on a piece of paper, on a journal, right? If you can't write, then type it. But essentially, you're doing a brain dump of what came up. So as you were doing the fire, who made you angry? Who do you have unresolved issues with? As you were doing the gratitude, wow, I've not thought about this person in a long time. I'm going to send them an appreciation voice memo. And I'll just, hey, I appreciate you. I care about you. I want to send this quick voice memo to let you know that you are loved. And while you're doing your breath work, you're maybe having anxiety about something that's coming up. Write that down. So you're kind of just summarizing what came through in the grounding session. And most importantly, you're using the power of time blocking. So I myself, if I do not time block, I am very unproductive. Time blocking is a way of writing down exactly what you're going to do hour by hour and committing to that. And Elon Musk is a time blocker. Bill Gates is a time blocker. Most of the world's most successful people, they time block either the night before, or I do it first thing in the morning after this process, where I'm committing and I'm writing down what I'm going to do, starting with my 3 big rocks and then my other activities. And again, whatever comes up from the intuition from the routine.
Love it. I love it. So obviously one problem I have, AJ, is I love talking to you too much. So like we're almost at the hour and I promised to get you out of here in that time. So
it's fine if we go a few more minutes.
Cool, man. Well,
same thing. I love our combos. I lose track of time.
Yeah, man, it gets too easy. Well, I will say this, just so people know, in case it isn't clear yet, because both of us have been hyping this as we're talking about it, this is free. You're not selling this. You were you were just generous enough to come on because you wanted people to be able to experience and enjoy this. And I've got the thing where I will stand by the fact that my book is all you need, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop giving other options because people want variety. And my book is not the be all end all. So why not find out about this awesome thing that AJ is doing? Why not share it with people? Because I invite people to try this out just like they try any other method in my book, any other method on my channel, or any other method that I have nothing to do with, because I think this is a really fun, really awesome, really dynamic method. And what I'm going to do is, I mean, I'm sure people will want to learn a little more about you. So I'm going to put ajmirzad.com in the description. I'm also going to put a link to the Facebook group where you first shared this. And I'm going to put a link to like a Zoom recording where you have like basically guiding people through a faster version without me interrupting you and dragging the conversation. So it'll be a quicker recording for people to follow along with on a daily basis. And It looks like you just popped something in the chat for me. So thank you so much for that.
That's the Facebook group. Again, this whole intention of sharing it is purely about giving value. Like, I'm not selling anything. It's not like some kind of sneaky tactic to upsell you into a program or a product. I don't even want to monetize this. Like, literally, this exact 10-minute process added so much value in my life that I just want to give it to people and share it with it. You know, I want them to try it or to take pieces of it, add it to their routine. You know, take what you like, discard what doesn't work for you. And again, I'm just really grateful because, you know, I've gotten so much in my life through, you know, living in America and just growing my business, is creating so much abundance that I just want to give back. And I just want to share what has worked for me. How could people adopt this and put this into place? And, you know, the Facebook group that I created is facebook.com/groups Unstoppable Program. If you literally go on Unstoppable
There'll be a
Program,
slash between there. It'll be groups / Unstoppable Program.
Yes. Cool. And if you just go on Facebook and search Unstoppable Program, all in one word, you're going to see a big giant lion. And when you see the lion, you're in the right group. That's my spirit animal. Nice. And I just really created the group to explain the process fully, because maybe the first few times you might be a bit confused. I also share the science behind everything, you know, the articles and the resources. If someone wants to go deeper into breath work, here are some books on that subject. Dynamic meditation. Osho based his entire philosophy on dynamic meditation. Check this out. So if people want to go further with it, I definitely want to help with that. And at the same time, I kind of create as an accountability system, because maybe the first 10 minutes, it's easy for you to do, but to do this every single day. Where the magic really happens, it's good to have a group of people that are along with the same mindset.